Hey, Edripa here. Thought I'd go over my leveling solo strategy. I've got my tank set on, which is really tanky, a lot of mastery. It's a 4-piece with shoulders and boots. That's also dodge and parry. But I've got 124% mastery, 9% dodge, 27% parry. It's like a 7.8 rune speed time. But what you want to do is pull this guy and dot him up. Hit your AMS and boot. Chop that guy down and bring him up here. Kill this barrel. Explode it with a death coil or something so that it doesn't hit your mobs. And the reason that you don't want that to do any damage to your mobs is so that you don't get the experience lost from any damaging them. And you want to keep the little elemental sprites tethered to these guys, so make sure that you don't hit any AoE ability while you're pulling these guys. That's why I death grip the first one to me. You don't want to bring them any further than right here too, because the water spirits will unleash because of the distance, so the water monkeys will take damage and you won't get the full experience from that monkey. Elemental attack goes off so that I'm not slowed, and then I'll boot, and that's how I get here. But make sure that you just don't AoE any of them sprites. That's a Pestilence, a Blood Boil, a Heart Strike, none of that, because it'll all kill those sprites. And once you get here, just line them up, and when they crash into you, go ahead and hit your DRW so you get a bunch of parry. And then also go ahead and hit your Vamp Blood, and then you can Outbreak, and then Pestilence them, and then Death Strike once, and send the rest of the runes as Blood Boils, and keep your D&D down, and just keep cycling your AMS and your IBF when you need it. And then once you get them dead, come on through here, go ahead and start chopping them down so you can convert your Unholy Runes and Frost Runes to Death Runes, because you're going to need them in here. I run Chill Blains so that I'm snaring them on my disease procs. If you get hit by a barrel right there, just hit Vamp Blood and then Death Strike, and you can just keep on going. But you can see how I'm like running sideways into them and slowing them, and just go work all the way around the room. And you're trying to not let any of them barrels hit them. Any barrels that hit them, they do damage to them, and so you get less XP for it. But just group them up here in the middle, like on the side, let them crash into you. Hit your DRW again. That way you get just tons of parries. And go ahead and Outbreak, and then Pestilence so that you spread your dots to them. If you're below half health, go ahead and hit a Death Strike, but send the rest of them as Blood Boils. And this is where you can reset. As you can see up there, it's like 13 million experience. But you're going to run out of instances. So just go ahead and kill the monkey. At this point, I typically will switch to my DPS set of gear. I'm running a full 5-piece DPS set, like full bis and trinkets and everything. But just get on a barrel and ride them into them. Wait till he ground and pounds, get on another barrel. Just keep barreling them up, chopping them down, keeping your dots on them, keeping them stationary inside of your D&D. Get your goal out, get your army out, let it attack on them. You should be able to get off like 2 different DRWs on them. I usually will refresh one of the barrels and then DRW. Go ahead and chop them down like the full duration of DRW with all of your runes up. So, Death Strike, Rune Strike, Death Strike, Rune Strike, Rune Strike, Rune Strike. You're trying to maximize that combo. And then once that's ending, you need to go ahead and get another barrel active on him because it will eventually fall off. So you want to keep stacking the barrels because he's just taking increased damage right here. So another thing is you can point him away from where the barrels actually spawn so that he's not blowing them up. But this guy's pretty easy. Doesn't take the full defensive mastery gear to kill him. And I can actually do this in full DPS gear if I just reforge a lot of my crit to mastery. But the front part where you're doing all the elementals gets pretty scary. So I just put my tank set on and full, thick boy thug. Zug him down. DRW's back up. So he's at 13 stacks. Thinking about hitting it, but he's going to be dead. So I'm just going to wait for the next boss. Just going to chop him down like normal. Once he dies, loot your gold, your item, and go on. You don't have to worry about doing any damage to any of these, but once they get right here, I just boot around. You can outbreak one of them and then start just rolling a death strikes and make sure you got all your blood runes and stuff going when you get up in here. These guys that explosive barrel, once you see the explosive barrel casting, just step away from them because they don't move. You don't want to get hit by the explosive barrel because it stuns you. I'm just spreading my dots here. I thought the boss came out and I accidentally hit my DRW. But whatever. Once the boss comes out, usually DRW and then Outbreak, then Pestilence, and then just start chopping them down with Death Strikes and Rune Strikes. If you're out of Death Strike and Rune Power, then you can hit a Heart Strike. If there's not a lot of mobs around, but once you see them arrows casting and stuff, just go away. You just keep spawning these guys, so just keep spreading your dots to them, but mainly you're focusing single target damage on them. The guys hardly do any damage. Just stay out of the front when he does his carrot breath. Put a D&D down. Spread your dots. He spawns like 3 or 4 waves of rabbits that come out. And one of the waves are always going to be the explosive barrel people. So just look for them, wait for them to stand still and cast, and then you move away. And you just keep chopping them down. I don't even worry about getting the mallet. It's not worth my time picking that up. You can stand in front of them and get hit by everything. It really doesn't matter. I haven't used a single cooldown or anything. A thing to note would be try to use your guild banner where you first kill the elemental creatures, the elemental monkeys. If you throw it down right there, you will be able to get hit by that same banner right here and for the other monkey boss and all the other monkeys. So that'll increase your experience gain. I also don't have Death Siphon, even though it's a DPS increase. You can go Death Pack, and the only reason I go Death Pack is because sometimes when I'm pulling the monkeys, you can get like CC chain sometimes by bad barrels, and so I just have it in case I need to quickly get back up in health. It's also good for the elemental monkeys because sometimes they just will insta give you almost. If all of them hit you with a melee and their elemental attack at the same time, it can be very damaging. But I just keep with death strikes and that'll get me through. Death siphon, you can do it with death siphon. It's just more insurance. And then I don't pick death's embrace. Instead, I go with chillblains just because it's easier to kite the monkeys around when you're pulling that room. They get slowed for 8 seconds when you hit them with a dot, so you can outrun them. All right, once he dies, that's 675,000 experience. So just run out, reset. Takes about 10 to 12 minutes. Here's what the XP looks like per party animal. It's like 10K. The more they get damaged, the less experience you'll get from them. So you kind of try to weave them through the barrels. And then it takes anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes to do this run, and that's anywhere from 10 to 12 million experience as well. So bye.